this is Vitality Coach Kelly Nandler with episode number 7 of LifeForceRadio, and today I'll be talking about vitamin D and some of the health benefits. So vitamin D is known as the sunshine vitamin. It's always best to get your vitamin D from the sun. We were always told to stay out of the sun, to cover ourselves with clothes, to put on sunscreen, which is actually carcinogenic. And if you have 30 SPF, you're actually decreasing your body's ability to synthesize and to create vitamin D in your body by 95%. And the dangers of getting cancer are far less than the dangers of not taking vitamin C on your overall health and your more likelihood to get disease. Basically, you're helping create disease by not getting out and getting the sun. It's most important also to get the best sunshine right at sunrise and to ground yourself to the earth, whether you're making yourself like a sphinx off or extremities on the ground and charging yourself, grounding yourself actually with the negative charge of the earth's electromagnetic field. And it'll help you reconnect, and it also reduces stress and anxiety, and it helps your overall metabolic function because we are electrical beings. And then also I like to do the sun salutation yoga pose where you're actually facing the sun, and in that early morning light you're saluting the sun, and you're also bending your body, practicing a deep breathing exercise, and you're actually getting your diaphragm in the proper positioning as well. So that is really important. But let's just talk about supplementing with vitamin D if you happen to live in a northern climate or you are a vampire like most Americans and we don't get outside enough. So what is vitamin D? It's not really a vitamin at all. It's actually like a pro-hormone, and so it's just named vitamin D. And these vitamins and nutrients that can't be created by the body, and they must be taken through our diet. However, vitamin D can be synthesized by our body when we have sunlight on our skin. It's estimated that sensible sun exposure on bare skin for 5 to 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week, allows most people to produce sufficient vitamin D. And of course that might vary if you are in a northern latitude in the winter like I am right now. And vitamin D breaks down quickly, meaning that stores can run low, especially in the winter. So that's why it's important to understand how to supplement as a vitamin D that you might take orally. And so it helps with healthy bones, but you also have to keep in mind if you take too much of it without K2, which I'll discuss in my next video, then it can actually calcify not just your bones but your arteries as well. So you don't want to do that. It plays a substantial role in regulation of calcium and maintenance of phosphorus levels in the blood, 2 factors that are extremely important in maintaining healthy bones. We need vitamin D to absorb the calcium in the intestines to reclaim calcium that would otherwise be excreted through the kidneys. Vitamin D deficiency in children can cause rickets, and it's a disease characterized by severely bow-legged appearance due to the softening of the bones. In adults, vitamin D deficiency manifests as osteomalacia, which is the softening of the bones, or osteoporosis. And it results in poor bone density, which a lot of us have actually, and muscular weakness. And that can be exacerbated when we spend a lot of time indoors, out of the sun, and especially we're in blue light or artificial light that is not in the red light spectrum. Vitamin D deficiency also increases your risk of flu and diabetes, and proper amounts of vitamin D help create healthy infants and help infants stay healthy, and also create healthy pregnancy, helps prevent cancer. And you can get vitamin D in cod liver oil, which has 1360 IU and in a serving, and then have herring, which I love to put herring in like a red wine type sauce. and 4 ounces of that is 1,056 IU. Swordfish raw maitake mushrooms, which I love collecting wild foods, as you know, if you followed me for very long. And I collected a lot of maitake mushrooms, and I actually have a lot of dried maitake mushrooms that I have as well, if anybody wants any. Sockeye salmon, probably one of your best sources. 4 ounces, 596 IU. Sardines, which I eat a lot of sardines as well. Fortified skim milk is 120 IU. I don't drink milk products. I'm actually completely allergic, so can't do that anymore. Almost killed me. Tuna, canned in water, drained, 3 ounces, 68 IU. And then eggs of a chicken is 44 IU. I actually have a lot of duck eggs as well. My family raises ducks and chickens. And potential health risks of consuming vitamin D. As I mentioned, if you consume over 4,000 IU per day, it can be unhealthy, it can create toxicity, and it can relate to hypervitaminosis D, which can lead to the calcification of the bones and the hardening of the vessels, kidney, lungs, and heart. And so you probably know people that take a lot of vitamin D and then they really never take any K2. So that can actually cause calcification. So you don't want to do that. You also don't want to take calcium without taking K2 and vitamin D. Symptoms of vitamin D deficiency may be getting sick, and more infections, fatigue, painful bones and back, depressed mood, slow wound healing, even hair loss as well. So that can happen if you don't take enough vitamin D. And the recommended intake is measured in 2 ways, in micrograms and in IU units. So for infants 0 to 12 months, 400 IU or 10 mcg. Children 1 to 18 years, 600 IU per day or 15 mcg. Adults age adults age to 70, so basically from 18 years old to 70 years old, 60 IU or 15 mcg. Adults over 70, 80 IU, and pregnant or lactating women 600 IU. So it's extremely important for regulating cell growth. This is why I really make sure to take my vitamin D. It's one of my most important things. And it really helps with cell-to-cell communication. And so, as you remember, all disease has its root cause in the inability to make new cells that work. And so, if you can't communicate with your cells, then you're going to be very sick. And so, you will eventually create disease processes in your body. Some studies have suggested that calcitrol, the hormonally active form of vitamin D, can reduce cancer progression by slowing the growth and development of new blood vessels in cancerous tissue, increasing cancerous cell death, and reducing cell proliferation and metastases. Vitamin D influences more than 200 human genes. Now let me repeat that. Vitamin D influences over more than 200 human genes, which could be impaired when we do not have enough vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency has also been associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, hypertension, multiple sclerosis, autism, Alzheimer's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, severity, swine flu. So it's really important to take your vitamin D. I don't know how else to tell you about it, but although the body can create the vitamin D, there are many reasons deficiency can occur. Most often is just that Americans are vampires. So we spend too much time indoors and out of the sun. So you need to get back to nature. You need to rewild, spend some time outside every day doing some kind of activity that you love. And let's see, people who live in the northern latitudes, of course, or areas with high pollution, or people who work night shifts and stay at home during the day, or homebound people, which we all seem to be more homebound these days. A lot of people just do it by choice. They're on their computer, their devices, they're inside watching video games and watching soap operas or whatever it is people do indoors. And I'm only indoors because I'm stuck at a hotel here. So I've already been outside today getting my natural vitamin D. If you can't get a lot of vitamin D, then you need to go to a tanning salon and help your body synthesize vitamin D, or some kind of a tanning lamp. And you can buy them as well. And you can even find them sometimes for almost free. And once again, I'll reiterate this. The danger of getting skin cancer from sunlight or from going to a tanning salon is far less than the danger of being vitamin D deficient. When I went to work at Greens Creek Mine in Alaska, I knew I was going to be working underground as the only female miner out of 360 some employees. And I knew that I was also going to be working a lot of night shifts. And I explained this to my doctor, and I was getting my medical exam for that job in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I had resided up until that point. And he told me that 65% of Michiganders, or people who live in Michigan, are vitamin D deficient. And he presumed that it was much higher up in Alaska because of the lack of daylight in the wintertime. And he said, by my choice of working in a mine, underground, and working night shifts, it was going to exacerbate my low levels of vitamin D. He not only recommended for me to take vitamin D, but he also recommended that I go to a tanning salon at least once a week. And so that might seem counterintuitive, but he was ahead of his time, and he was an allopathic doctor with holistic roots or holistic beliefs as well. So very, very important. So if you want to fight fatigue, depression, metabolic dysfunction, if you want to combat painful bones or weak bones or getting sick or infections, or help with wounds healing at a quick rate, then you need to take your vitamin D. Basically, if you want to live a healthy life, and if you want to live with vitality, you need to take vitamin D every day, and then you need to get out in the sun as much as possible. Get out of the indoors as much as possible. And if you can't, for some reason, open the window like I have right now and let the natural sunlight come in, and do that as much as possible when you have to be indoors. The windows can block the valuable sun's rays that allow us to synthesize vitamin D. So be well.